So the GoPro fried again, but I got most of the silicone off, but I have ripped quite a bit of the sealer off and the foam is exposed, but I'm sure Aqua One would not let out a foam that's going to cause too much of a trouble if it did get a crack in the sealant. So I'm probably just going to leave it, but I would recommend putting pond sealant just in case to seal it back up again, but I can't see it being too much of a problem. But I am going to put only a few dots and a few dots down each side and in the middle, only just to hold it on a little bit, not like the other person previously put a lot on to stick it on there permanently. We're not going to rush it, so we're going to clean out the rest of this tank and then get it silicone back in, and hopefully that will look okay then. And then the rest of this, there's no more green there, so that is good. To dry out the tank a little bit more. It is pretty clean, just the marks from the silicone are still there. I'm not going to worry about taking them off. It is on the back and you won't see it anyway, but I've got a weight, which is a little metal box that I made, and it's full of blower parts, which I'll probably get to in a video. So I'm just going to put that in there and squish it on the rocks until it sets, because I think what they've done is before they had at the bottom there's that little gap of silicone at the bottom, and I don't think they have put it on top of it. I think they put it beside it, which left that giant gap behind it. That's why there was such a gap behind it. So the silicone obviously hasn't set dried yet, but it has probably dried enough for me to stand it back up again. I decided that I would lie it down on the floor and put a weight on it. I don't suggest you use stuff out of your garage, things covered in oil, and it's made my hands black, but I've got it on a tea towel, hasn't actually touched anything, and I'm going to wash my hands well before I touch anything else in the aquarium. But yes, so that is probably the best way to do it. Make sure you've got it on a flat surface so you don't crack the back or anything. But yeah, no, hopefully this works well, and I'll stand it back up and have a look at it to see how big the gap is on the back of it and whether or not I'm happy with that, and it will stay like that. So I got it incredibly close. There is a tiny bit of water back there, but it should be fine. The silicone is very, very thin, whereas the other silicone was quite thick, and that is why there was so much build up behind it, because there was just so much room for things to grow in the back of it. So I'm pretty happy with that, and it probably doesn't need any more silicone than that, as it was squished in there. Because I lifted it off the bottom, you'll see a gap now. What I was talking about before is where the silicone is. Obviously, if you sit it in front of the silicone here, you'll get it flush on the bottom. But you have that gap, which is the gap that they had with the other silicone. So if you sit it on top of that, it'll be fine. You will not see it because you will have substrate there, or you won't see it even if you don't have substrate because you're going to be looking at it from the top, not from the bottom. So, I mean, you wouldn't notice that at all until you got down here. And then there's a line here which I'll probably paint just in case some of the dust joined there, just in case some of the light from behind it gets. So I'll just put a black strip or even a bit of tape will sort that out. So, but no, that is the background back on, and I've got to leave it for a few days and let the silicone cure, because you obviously let every glue dry for, you know, a couple of days, or silicone. And also if I fill it with water, it's probably just going to peel off. But I shall leave it for a couple of days and then hopefully get started on putting some substrate and whatever else I'm going to put in there. But for the next day or two, I will probably try and clean up the glass a little bit more, and hopefully we'll just slam it together and then it'll all be okay. But yes, I am just gonna finish up cleaning and putting everything away, and then that'll be it. Take it easy.